smokes.
Oh yeah, that looks good.
Sweet. Oh man, I should have saw the makeup. Should have went to the makeup trail. Forehead is all sunny.
Podcast viewers can't hear it. Can't see it. I mixed it up. Welcome back, everybody. Dat Fury Radio. I'm Howie Howard. Guest Lefty Grove, Ebony Simon out of Wichita. We're listening to the back half of Lefty's new record, Hear Me, this week. If you haven't heard last week's episode where we listened to the first half of the record, as you might expect, you can jump back and hear some of the stories there. But or you can just listen to this. I don't know. I'm going to play some music. Dig Deep off of Hear Me, Lefty Grove, Dat Fury Radio.
This is my rappity rap song.
I'm cooking, come get the recipe and the rest of me as well. Got a couple stories I could tell that'll make your tear ducts start to swell. Not a bit of fear in the things I say, few regrets when I'm on the way. Ain't no kids to raise, so I just hang on these words like art displays. Rembrandt with the pen antics, play the beat and I do damage. Might be broke, but I do manage. Got enough flow for a few planets. From when it used to sound scan it, slick as the water from a wet bandit. Switch up the flow and take control like I was the male Janet. Back to the schedule programming. Can't say the beat is not jamming. No more scheming, real planning. Mixture of Pele and Fred Hammond. They have issues, get tissues while I abuse this hit language. Give me the mic, I get famous. It's all my fault, no complaining. Made history in my own lane. Better than the growth from Rogaine. Got a note all called propane. Good enough to use any flow, man. Few more bars than the chorus hits. Not the man, that's Becky Lynch. Shut your mouth if you get pinched. Lawyer get you off a few cents.
That was my rappity rap song.
Yeah, you're really good enough to use any flow. You're really showing it.
I didn't even put a chorus on it because I was like, you know what? What's the use? I'm just here to rap. Like this song, I'm just here to rap. This is also my favorite beat to make, just because of the way it all came together so fresh.
Grew up poor, black and worthless till you dig deep under the surface.
Do you remember making it?
Yeah, I do. Specifically, I was sitting here listening to a bunch of TV soundtracks. I don't know how I ended up with it, but there's a whole bunch of TV soundtracks that I have like on disc, and this particular song had 4 or 5 parts that I've honestly used on other things. Particularly Not the Rain, but the second single on that song was also a sample from this very same song.
Okay.
So yeah, just coming through the whole thing. The only thing that isn't part of that song is, again, the drums. And that's all. That's just like 3 samples that I chopped out. 4 actually, when you hear the very end of it, it's 4, but one of them's part of the end of something else. But yeah, I just had a little bit of fun with it.
Doesn't need anything else.
Yeah, just like, and actually for that song, there is a 3rd verse.
Oh.
Yeah, that song's originally almost 6 minutes long because I just threw verses at it. And I couldn't think of what I wanted to do. But then when I got in the studio, because I am the way I am, I have different parts of different songs in different notebooks because I like those verses better than the verses that I wrote for that particular beat. I love that notebook at home, so I just cut that verse off. But if I ever perform that song live, what I may do is just do the first verse and then do the unrecorded 3rd verse. Because that second verse is almost pieced together, where it was just like, I wanted to do it like the first verse, but I put way too many words into it. And unfortunately, one of the styles I really can't do is like the Aesop Rock LP style of like rap, where sometimes you just put as many words into a bar as you can. I'm not good at that. Like, I can't do it. And it's not even something that I would attempt to do and put on this project to be representative of me. So I just kind of took it out and left it alone.
Yeah, there's really nobody quite like Ace, and he's one of my favorites. It's not out yet, but he's announced a new one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But yeah, there's nobody's gonna fault you for not sounding like A$AP Rock. That's a really high bar, and no one but him can clear that particular bar in his particular way.
Yeah, it's just not a lane I can get into, and it's not any detriment or disrespect to anybody that can do it. It's just I know my strengths. That's not one of them. Let's not make a fool of yourselves trying to do something that you can't do. You know?
Trying might make for an interesting writing exercise. I don't know if it would generate anything releasable, or anything that you'd want to release, but like the exercise might be interesting. Not that you would get there, but just to see what happened in trying, Yeah.
I would much rather do that while I freestyle in front of people on stage with making up something on a beat that I probably have a song to but don't do the verses for. I could probably do it then because I have been known to stuff some words together when I'm freestyling on stage. But as far as sitting down and writing, it's just a lot of effort that what I do is kind of so effortless to me that it's almost like old dog new trick style.
Yeah.
I've done the same trick for so long that adding another trick really would almost probably hurt me a lot more than it would help.
I'm all for new tricks, but A$AP Rock's flow is a hell of a new trick.
Yeah, we're gonna leave that over there, and I will eventually maybe build my way up to something like that. But yeah, at this point in time, Randy Jackson style, that's a no for me, though.
So this podcast is never intended for children, but I will give a disclaimer here on the next song. If you're listening with small children and don't want them exposed to some swearing, nothing, well, I shouldn't say nothing. As I can recall, nothing violent or inappropriately sexual for children or anything like that, but there is a lot of swearing in the song that's coming up, so
sorry.
No problem for me. I just want people to know.
I couldn't pass this song up though either.
Hey yo, this is Guinness. This is also Lefty Grove. I'm a motherfucker. Nah, not now, motherfucker. Who, what, when, where, and how, motherfucker. Bing, bang, boom, slip, pow, motherfucker. Don't get up, stay down, motherfucker. Press your luck, get clown, motherfucker. Left Grizzly and Guinness, we surround, motherfuckers. Step on ice, slip and fall, motherfuckers. Ball out daily, hit the mall, motherfuckers. Head up, no time to frown, motherfuckers. You know I'm a dog out the pound, motherfuckers.
So there had to be a moment of inspiration, or like what?
Yeah. Okay, so what was it? 2001 or 2? Redman put out a song called Motherfucker on his album Malpractice. And I had been listening to Redman for as long as I can remember listening to Redman. And that song just kind of stood out to me as funny. So I just wanted to write my own version of it. I mean, if you listen to that song and then listen to what I did, it's as close as I could come to paying homage to the entire song without literally just doing what he did. That's why the second verse is different from the first verse. Like, it starts with that and it ends with that, but it doesn't have it through the whole song. It's because I wanted to put my own spin on it.
That's probably the ideal arrangement, because the joke would wear thin if it was literally the entire song. So you need that break.
Yeah.
I gets down, motherfucker.
Also, my favorite line that I wrote on this entire album is on this song.
We gets down, motherfucker.
No longer out in these bars, I'm playing D&D.
I gets down, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You gets down, motherfucker.
2 campaigns. One of them, I'm Mogwai Lemieux, Dwarf Cleric, War Priest actually. And the other one, I am Shao Okada, a monk who is practicing the way of open hand. So basically, when I hit people, my hands do magic damage. And that's kind of how I feel. That's kind of how I feel about writing. Like, sometimes I just do magic damage, critical hits, critical rolls. So, but this song was just, this song was just me being funny. You know, try to crack a little inside joke to myself.
Absolutely.
That hopefully other people get. That's all it really is too. Like, there's no reason for me to put that song out, but I was just like, you know what? I made this beat. This beat's super dope. I can't just release this as an instrumental. So I'm just gonna write to it. And that's literally how this came up.
Yeah, I think it belongs. This is something I talk with Stick about too, and not to repeat it, you know, too much or like overemphasize the similarities, but like sometimes you just talk some shit, you know?
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Also,
that's part of the bigger, you know, collage that you're building. I love it.
It was fun, and I really didn't understand why I couldn't have fun. You know, just because I'm older doesn't mean hip hop isn't fun. It's still fun.
It's got to be fun. So. It's if it's all serious, it's lost part of the essence, I think.
If it's all one thing, then it's lost its essence. You know, it's not all partying, it's not all thugging, it's not all shooting people, crack selling, it's not all, you know, knowledge of self. You know, it's a little bit of everything. It's intrinsic, existential, and immediately gratifying to me. Like, I felt like these are big words for me. But
it's not some giant that lives up in the hills, or what did Mos Def say?
It's what did he say? But yeah, it should be relatable.
That whole intro to Black on Both Sides, yeah. Or is that? Oh no. Here's my assignment. I need to go back and listen to all my Black Star and Mos Def, because now I'm forgetting where in the discography that monologue shows up.
Mos Def is part of one of the songs I consider a perfect hip hop song.
I don't know which one in particular you mean, because I can think of several.
Respiration.
Agree.
Like, everything about that. If you take any one part of that song away from that song, it falls apart. Any one part, doesn't matter. Beat, rapper, verse, word, chorus, any part of that song comes out, that song falls apart. Like, everything about that song is just exactly where it needs to be for that song. The vibe is right. The beat is right. The video is dope for it. You know, like, it's all crazy. So, but it all works. Like that, and like another song is Rhinestone Cowboy from Mad Villain. I don't know how to do it, but sometimes they just come out perfect like that. You listen to it, and any one part of that song is missing from it, and it's just not the song it should be. So, that's also something that might be for a different episode, or like a short episode, is just listing off tracks, like 5 songs you think are perfect.
5 perfect songs. That's a great idea. We should do that. I'll file that away and we'll do that sometime. I Googled quick and I'm relieved to report that my instincts were right. The thing about the giant living off is in Fear Not a Man at the opening of Black on Both Sides. So I'm really relieved my instincts were right on that. But back to your music. You mentioned, you know, ups and downs. I'm going to play The Naked Truth. And once we've heard a verse, you know, why don't you tell us where were you on the ups and the downs for this one?
Actually about three. some of my life living my life losing. The drugs and alcohol were fun, now I just smoke these grooves and keep it moving. Self-improvement is key, I ain't hiding, I'm just riding for me. As you can see, I'm not perfect. Things happen along the way, and who's to say it could've went other ways? No time to play, so we stay in headphones, chopping samples and drums, patiently waiting for Jesus to come. That's cool for some, but I'm busy fighting demons cause they stay on the hunt. Waking me up barely sleeping, so I constantly stunt, just to hide the pain. Right as rain, I'm high as a kite. Guess my demons win and won this fight. I'll be alright as long as I wake up and begin the next battle. Hurting these demons like cattle till I hear death rattles. When the tides come, I swim out to the beach and finish what I've begun, and look at what I've become. I tell my story through these words in the booth. Not perfect, but you gon' get the naked truth. I tell my story through these words in the booth. Not perfect, but you gon' get the naked truth. I tell my story through these words in the booth. Not perfect, but you gon' get the naked truth. I tell my story through these words in the booth.
Demon imagery working on at least a couple levels there.
Yeah. In my 20s, when I first moved to Lawrence, I was leaving a part of me behind that I didn't want to be a part of anymore. Almost like shedding skin. And then I moved to Lawrence and I got a chance to be free of the shackles that were keeping me from being the person that I could be and that I should have been at that point in time. And just, I don't know, like, I would honestly be lying to you if I told you I remembered anything besides the first weekend of the first year I lived in Lawrence. And it was just constant. Hey, let's go party. You know, like I'm 23 years old. Everybody's about my age.
Sure.
I've never been around that many people from different walks of life and parts of the world. And I do well when I learn in an unstructured environment. And I adjusted almost so far to the other end of who I was and who I ended up being that I almost went overboard with it. Like just a lot of drinking, a lot of terrible choices, like just dumb, ignorant, childish things that full-grown adults shouldn't be even indulging. You know, I was trying things that I had never been able to try before. I was doing things that I never had the freedom to do before. And then about 29, I was like, you know what? This is either going to be how I live the rest of my life, or I'm going to straighten up and really try and like give this all a real good gung-ho shot, this music thing. Because it was working, and what I was doing was working, but it was also that same kind of cliche music thing, you know, just live hard, burn out young, so that way you can leave, you know, a pretty corpse and a story for everybody, you know. Like, I think I was kind of almost forcing myself to be a part of the 27 Club and not realizing that I was just wasting my talent, just wasting it. And just not even, that's what the second half of this whole album is like, hey, if you have the wherewithal to see where your lot in life is at this point in time, it can't get better, but you have to work on it getting better. And it's got to start with you. And that's how that song came about. Like, just, dude, if you're going to work on it, you got to work on it yourself. It doesn't matter who helps you. It doesn't matter. You got to help yourself first. Because nobody's going to help you if you don't. And that was just kind of me admitting that I should have asked for help a lot earlier than I did. And wasting a lot of time doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing when I should have been working hard like everybody else. So that's why this album ended up being the most honest thing I've written to date, because it's just me looking back and realizing that so many things should have gone different ways, but I forced my way into this little box where I didn't really fit in with anybody, but I was completely in the eye of the storm at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that song is.
That quest for honesty is something that's kind of been a theme on a lot of the artists and people I've talked with, and that's certainly the quest I've been on, and I've talked about that, and so I don't know how much of that is me kind of pulling out the threads that resonate with what I've been thinking about or what I've been trying to do with art, but it feels like it's actually kind of out there too, and other people are on that same quest.
Yeah, I mean, we're not kids anymore, man. We're full grown adults. We have mortgages, we have rent to pay, we got bills due. Some of us
cats
have kids.
Like to eat.
Yeah. You know, you got gardens to tend, you got pets to raise, you got kids to raise, you got a whole bunch of stuff going on, you know, and it helps if you can kind of put it in perspective and just get focused on what you need to do. And that's what that song is. This song is a remix, and I have verses for it, but I sold the original to someone. And they haven't done anything with
Congrats,
it yet.
That's great.
Yeah. They haven't, thank you. They haven't done anything with it yet, so I just spun it around and like did a mini chop of it and put a couple of different things on for like the eights and the choruses. Like, this isn't part of the original.
Gotcha.
But also, I really almost wish I would have put the original on here because it's ridiculous. Like, it's so ridiculous. And this is good too. Like
Bandcamp bonus track, maybe if you buy the record, you get the.
I think
the download.
I think
I'm joking. I'm not trying to put any pressure on you, though.
Well, no, like that's the next thing I think is coming out is going to be the instrumentals for this album, and on the instrumentals I may put like some B-side instrumentals that didn't make the album on it, and just do like a deluxe version and put that on my Bandcamp as well. And since there won't be any lyrics on it, I may actually put it on Spotify. Maybe. We'll talk about that.
We'll talk
Mr.
about it.
Elm. Mr. Elm needs to get off his butt and figure out how to pay these artists properly. Sorry. That's my soapbox I'm done.
No argument here. And you're not the first one to bring it up either. I do like this sequencing here. I'm glad we go out on a song with vocals.
Oh yeah, that's how I planned it.
Don't exactly mirror side one.
Yeah, I didn't want this album to go out without a song at the end that kind of brought everything back into perspective. Like, this song kind of brings the whole album back into perspective. So
let's hear it. Monster. Lefty Grove.
Starts off real quiet.
One more again. Left Grizzy Guinness. Strictly business. Hulk smashing beats with furnace blasting heat. You couldn't walk like me, you wouldn't last a week. Maybe an hour the way I drink these Guinness tracks. Gorilla glue to your mind, speech is a thumbtack. It's okay though, at least I notice. Right now I'm staying focused, congratulate my dopeness. I need to drop some weight, these knees are nice and warm. Pick up the pen, translate my English to cuneiform. You've been warned by the others, named Ebony, but I still roll like the undercover brother. Too black for the whites, too white for the blacks. Call me nigga everywhere that I've been. Guess I lack in some areas, so I made my own lane. One man gang like Akeem. Slick talk be the routine. Easy thick as poutine. Testers for you new fiends. Manifest some new dreams. Listen, done went and became a monster. Angry at the world, no sponsor. 25 plus years forever haunt ya. Over these beats, I do what I want to. I done went and became a monster. Angry at the world, no sponsor. 25 plus years forever haunt ya. Over these beats, I do what I want to. Talent only got me so far. Wasted my 20s, faking like I was a whole star. But I was just an interstellar cloud, smoking loud, no direction, following another crowd. Got a little more focused in my 30s, hopefully forgiven by those I did dirty. And if not, that's okay, I sleep well at night, knowing that the beats and bars are hella tight. The plight is heavy in the world, our government is a joke. Everybody out here struggling just to be broke. It's class warfare, if you ain't a millionaire or more, you're a slave or a whore. Pay your taxes, do your chores, damn shame, the game is rigged. No future for you, so hurry up and wait for the full collapse. It could happen by Thursday. Let me help you in the apocalypse using wordplay. Done went and became a monster, angry at the world, no sponsor. 25 plus years forever haunt ya. Over these beats I do what I want to. I done went and became a monster, angry at the world, no sponsor. 25 plus years forever haunt ya. Over these beats I do what I want to. That's it. That's it.
I couldn't interrupt. I mean, it's a perfect closer.
That's Hear Me in a Nutshell, that song. Like, it really is. Talked about a lot of stuff that, like, we've talked about in between tracks, and then it just kind of brings it all the way back around to the front. You know, if you were to put it on repeat, listening to Monster, hearing him say that's it, and then going right back to Bass Squad would just be like, oh, okay, I get it. You know, and that's kind of what I want people to do. Most people that will get it automatically.
Right.
But for the casual fan that doesn't know anything about Lefty Grove or doesn't really listen to hip hop, I kind of wanted to put out an album that would bring them in a little bit, but also the people that know Ebony and that know Lefty Grove and that understand where Guinness is coming from, they get something out of it too. You know, it's not leaving anything off the table or anyone behind. So.
Yeah, you did it, man. I mean, I think absolutely there's the depth for the fans, there's the accessibility for the new listeners, there's the sonic quality from the studio, there's the elevation of your own beat making, there's getting that pen out and writing some of your best stuff. I mean, it's all there, and everybody should go listen. leftygrove2.bandcamp.com. Album's called Hear Me. You can stream it wherever you stream. And yeah, thanks so much for sharing it with us.
Oh, no problem, man. Thanks for helping me share it with the world. And I love and respect everybody out there who's still being creative, who's still standing their ground in their beliefs as to what is true when it comes to everyone and how we need to move forward. Thanks for listening. Like, you know, every new ear, it could be a potential lifelong fan. So just thanks all around. I wish I had more to say, but thank you. You know, thanks for listening. Thanks for letting me be the weirdo on the mic that I've been since 1999. And thanks for honestly bringing me and Howie together, because, you know, the internet actually, weirdly enough, the internet brought us together. Wasn't it a conversation about Deftones?
It was. Oh, that's a fun little story to end on. And let me jump back. The artwork is great too. I can't remember if I mentioned that, but I do love the artwork on the record.
The artwork was done by the married couple, Gene Sweeney and Dora Naughton. They live in New York City. Dora went to KU, and she was a friend of mine when I first moved up here, and we always stayed in touch. And she did you may not have been around for those, but she did the Lefty Grove t-shirts that are black and yellow with the sunflower on them. A couple of people have those. Maybe your Pros has one, or maybe you've seen one around town. They did those as well, and that was the first thing we collaborated on. And then we collaborated on this, and this was like, besides the writing of the music, this was probably the most difficult thing to decide on. There's like 3 or 4 different versions of what the Hear Me album cover could have been that may not ever see the light, but they do work, and they do great work. and I was really appreciative of them doing this for me. So I don't really have a plug or a site where you can go to see what they're doing art-wise. If I happen to get that before this episode comes out, I'll make sure that I get that information to you, and maybe you can post a link with it.
Definitely.
But yeah. Nationwide, this whole thing reached New York to California.
So we teased the story, and we'll tell it quick. But yeah, early COVID days, like the first summer, right? And everybody's at home, and it was you and me and Marty and a guy from Kansas City who I don't know in real life that ran. This was happening on Twitter. And when was there did Ohms come out? When did Ohms come out?
That was
fall of 2020.
20, yeah.
Fall,
I want to say
fall of 2020. So I'm sure this is it. I'm sure the first single had come out.
Yeah.
And somehow, I don't know, somebody like probably posted the video for the single, and then somebody else liked and replied. But the four of us ended up in the DMs talking about getting together and listening to Deftones in the backyard and having a Deftones party.
Yeah.
Outside, of course. Remember, summer 2020, when everything was outside. And that didn't happen yet. I would still love for it to happen.
Yep.
But that got you and me talking, and that ended up with you coming on the long play multiple times, and you'll certainly be back on Dat Fury. We've got a show idea. I actually have a list of Ebony show ideas in my bigger list of all the show ideas. I think you owe me a U2 story. You have a U2 anecdote or U2 story, maybe?
We have a U2. I believe we have an Oasis. We have a Deftones. And
we got lots of ideas.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the Deftones that brought us together digitally. So the internet, point being, the internet can still be good. Try to use the internet for good. Connect with real people. Curate. If you use a feed, make sure it's full of your preferred cute animals. And, it is important to keep up with the news, but pick, do it at a sustainable level. Pick how you're going to try to move things the way that you can move them. And turn off the feed for a big chunk of your day, please. I'm begging you. I did it. I'm off Twitter. My social media. I have a Mr. Furious Tumblr account that's full of cats and Star Trek.
Nice.
And that's what I scroll at night. And I tell you, I feel a lot better. And it's not that I'm disengaged. My family, we decide where can we do some money, how do we get involved. But now I'm on my soapbox. We make an intentional choice about that.
Yeah.
And try to turn off the noise other than, I read the news in the morning and then I'm done for the day.
Yep.
And if I'm speaking to the audience here, your approach may not be that exactly. That's perfectly fine. You got to find an approach that works for you.
Yeah.
But I really encourage you, get away from the algorithms for large chunks of your day if you can. They're not made to make you happy and whole. Quite the opposite.
Yeah.
But yeah, to circle back, the internet can be good if you use it mindfully to curate actual connection with human beings.
Yeah. You can be Obi-Wan or you can be Anakin.
Much better put than I did. I took the long path. I made the Kessel Run in 90 parsecs.
Nice. But you made it. That's what matters. That's what matters, and that's what counts.
Thanks for listening, everybody. And that's the show.
Nice.
Whew, it'll be fine. we got outside a little bit, but it'll be fine. That'll be good.